Barry, thanks for joining us. It's been a historic few days for the sport. Just give us your take on what Fallon Sherrock achieved on Tuesday night.
Well, it's a pivotal moment in my view. You know, women's darts has been bubbling. Obviously their standard has been improving. Opportunities are still not enough for women, but my word, the two ladies we've used this year at the World Darts Championships have been the best advert for women's darts, not just in this country, but globally. You know, you have to come out of a goldfish bowl. You know, we live in a big world. Fallon's victory has become mainstream news rather than sports news, you know, and you're looking at whether it's Piers Morgan, whether it's the top end of ITV and BBC News, and then you go outside around the world, it's Washington Post, New York Times, it's everywhere, right across Asia. And then you realise what a symbolic moment that may be. We're not there yet, you know, it's one step at a time, but my word, they've both made a fantastic impression.
And did you expect the response globally to be as it has been, or has it maybe even surprised yourself?
I think it's astonished me. I mean, it's astonished me. Of course it's news, and you know, we talk about the first woman to do something is always news because it's a breakthrough moment for the sport. But in such matches, you know, 3-2 final set, coming back from behind, you couldn't write that type of drama, and how well the two girls held themselves together, you know. And I think that if you go into my own household, my wife, my father-in-law in his 90s were glued to darts, and that was relayed all across the world.
That's right, the manner of the performance, she played so well. And yeah. Ted Evitts, he also played well, averaged over 90 as well, and also the way he reacted to defeat.
Yeah.
He took it with grace and style.
I think it's very difficult because, you know, you have to understand, in the party atmosphere that exists within darts, which makes it so unique, sometimes, you know, there's going to be a bit of stick flying around, and I thought both James Richardson and Ted Evitts handled it very well. Ted in particular because obviously he lost, but he did so graciously, and I'm sure he almost enjoyed being part of the moment as well. He was very gracious, very, you know, congratulatory to Fallon, and yeah, I think Ted Evitts is a class player, and he acted class.
And do you think this could be a game-changing moment for women's darts? And what opportunities could we see in the future for women?
I think it is a game-changing moment, but again, it's small baby steps. The last thing you want to do now, because the infrastructure is not mature enough, is to go crazy on women's darts, because it will not be sustainable. It has to be grown. And a lot of the responsibility is not mine or the PDC's, it's the women themselves. So we need to see them making their own noise. I'm looking at Q School, obviously in January. I want to see how many women are in there, how they get on. I'm more optimistic about the growth of women's darts than I have been before. But at the same time, I'm just reining in that enthusiasm because it's got to be one step at a time. I mean, we've already announced that Fallon will get the dream ticket in terms of an invitation to the World Series of Darts in the Hulu Theatre, Madison Square Gardens, New York. Now, that's going to be massive news around the world, particularly in America, but all over the world. And the message is clear to other women. If you're good enough, opportunities exist or will be created. But you've got to show us you're good enough first.
Do you think that's very important, that everyone's seen Fallon Sherrock do this on the biggest stage of all, that she's now got something to look forward to already in the New York?
Yeah, you need bonuses, don't you? I think every sportsman, every child, every kid that plays sport, whatever the sport is, they need to have an arm around them and say, well done, because it lifts you. And I don't think Fallon and the other girls that play are any different. They need to say, they've had their moment, you know, Fallon's still in the tournament as we speak, but they need to know that there's a future. Why should anyone sacrifice their life and give up and concentrate, single-minded approach, unless there are rewards and treats that follow? And it doesn't get much bigger for Fallon than Madison Square Gardens, does it? I mean, she's going to have a dream scenario there, and who knows? Who knows where it builds from there? We'll just give it 100%, we'll be very professional, won't get carried away, but at least the women know there is a route. Now it's up to them.
And just finally, do you think as the sport progresses over the next 10, 15 years, do you think maybe a woman beating a man won't be news, and the news will be, oh, a woman's reached the quarter-final for the first time, for example?
I think we're only limited by our own imagination. There is no earthly reason why, somewhere in this world, we don't uncover and perhaps we already have, we don't uncover a superstar that can beat men on a regular basis and win the World Darts Championships. We are gender neutral. We don't believe in patronising women by letting them have their own little tiny event over there. They're in the big time. And in these days of equality, it's up to the women to show that they deserve to be there on an equal playing field. I think we're approaching the dawn of a new era.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Barry.
Thank you.